Like, I am truly impressed by China and its conquest, effectively. Both, but just like, it's very imperial. That's all I will say. It's acting as that. But they're playing the game, and I think they're playing it quite well. And so they're power players on the massive board. And look, I've had my fair share of criticism when it comes to communism, but mostly socialism, because I think that shit is completely retarded. So I'm only ever going to look at the merits of a thing and come to a quantitative result or a quantitative answer. Like, you need to do quantitative analysis and come up with something that's realistic and has merit. And so I look at this and I think, yes, this has merit. China has merit, a lot of it. It has a moat too, quite a big one. Has a whole bunch of weird cards and shit. And if it plays them, it's going to win. Chinese poker, man.
It's so interesting. You mentioned earlier how China is going in African countries and like also, the global South, Caribbeans, all kind of a bunch of countries. The way that they don't get involved in politics, like in those countries, they just get involved in infrastructure and financing. They don't do grants. They don't do.
Yeah, they do politics from a different perspective. They go, I'm going to make a deal with you. I'm going to build this amazing infrastructure. Your country going to look awesome and provide you with a whole bunch of economic value. You will allow me to do this in profit. That's their thing. And then what happens after that is, now you have this Chinese infrastructure. And who is using it? The Chinese company with the Chinese workers. See, you have to think ahead. You have to think ahead and never give up on yourself. Do you see how they're investing in themselves with investing in others? Do you see that? So they don't have to do politics from the game that normally is played where, like, you don't have to say, government, help me. You say, I'm going to help you be bigger government with this thing. And if you don't want it, don't care, I'll go elsewhere, right? And so then they take that deal, and you actually profit more off that deal than they do, because they can't do what you're going to do. Let's say you're in Africa, and you want to do Chinese mining company that is super advanced. Africa doesn't know how to fucking do that shit, but China knows how to do that shit. So they come to the table and say, here, you're going to get this much money per however much time. I'm going to take this land and start mining out of it, and your government's going to look awesome if you let me do that and don't stop me doing it. And they agree to that shit, and now China has a lot more resources than everybody else, works for itself, and has a very solid, somewhat smart political deal as opposed to inverse, mimetic fuckery political deal. It's very hard in a sense, right?
If you were to compare it to the U.S., when the U.S. does that with those countries, they usually... there's like human right condition, and they get deep in their politics and the current government. Well, I don't know how China does this though, not being involved with corrupt government in countries and getting that deep. I wonder how they do that.
I would explain it, but I also don't want to.
Okay.
Like, don't worry about it.
The financing, because a lot of times I think a bunch of countries in the Caribbean were not able to pay back the infrastructure that got built by China. So down the line, when those countries can't pay, what happens?
Well, very simple. If you can't pay, be like, okay, I understand. You don't have the money. So, you have this really nice piece of land over here. I'm willing to forgive all that debt if you allow me to continue my current operation on that piece of land, and we'll never have any problems ever again. Guys got to look at debt and look at international geopolitical fuckery and go, yeah, fucking take the land. Here, have a little bonus on top of it. That's what happens.
Yeah.
I don't understand why fucking America doesn't do that. I can't for the life of me. Like, you say, oh, it's unethical and it's on this and it's on that. I'm like, well, okay, then make it ethical, but you do something. Yeah, anything. You have military bases in all these places. Why don't set up, like... As a Republican... Like, why don't you go to Afghanistan and say, hey, you got a shit ton of these resources that are actually quite interesting. You will never be able to mine that shit. And China's going to give you a whole shit deal. So we're going to give you a better, slightly shit deal because, you are who you are and we are who we are. But you're going to get money, we're going to get resources, and we go and do business. Why doesn't America do that? Why?
Well,
you already bombed the place to shit. Why didn't
they have long-term plans, and I think America has been mainly like an election cycle plans. And
yeah, it's bullshit. Exactly.
It's complete bullshit, honestly. And yeah, it's like one administration starts something, and then the next one is gonna
the small fraction of a decade.
Spend half of the election, half the term getting revenge on the previous administration, then the other half starting to do something, and then it's just like a vicious cycle at this point.
Here's the thing. At this point, you start to look at the concept of a deep state and go, that would actually be very beneficial if it's a thing that exists outside of electoral cycles. Also, the fact that it doesn't have as much influence in that sense that it can have these massive long-term plans, which would be very, very good for America as a whole and its dominance, kind of makes you think that maybe there really isn't one like that people think of. Maybe it's greatly exaggerated schizo-fucking bullshit,
A bunch of the plans that started right now would be really great in the long term, but I just know that if something happens and the next administration is the other party, like it's really hard to have hope that these will be long term. They will hold long term.
Empire maxim. That's what you need to do. You need to have some sort of guarantee that a specific thing gets seen through to the end, irrespective of administration. And that's it. I wonder if that's possible. Should be possible. I need to look into that. Does anybody know if that's possible? Does anybody know if that's a thing that the U.S. can do? Is create a thing that the next executive branch can't undo? Is that a thing it can do?
No, it's protected by the Constitution. Executive power.
Right, yeah. You don't want to fuck with the Constitution. That's a thread you should never pull. Ah, well.
But I will say, they've added, all these lawmakers, man, they get elected, and the first thing they want to do is create new laws. So they add all these amendments to the Constitution. I think we should go back about, 50 years or so and just undo them all.
Yeah. What about the federal lobster law?
I don't know that one. What is it?
It's a law about a certain size of lobster you're not supposed to possess.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they have those on fish, all sorts of fish, too. Most people just don't pay any attention.
Mm-hmm. Like, who's got federal lobster law? Law, sorry, not law. Fuck.
It's not being enforced, but you do see, fishermen releasing the lobsters back.
They're doing it because it's law. They're doing it because it's not tasty.
Okay.
So lobsters are biologically immortal.
What?
Yeah.
Did you say immortal?
Yeah, immortal, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they're also called the cockroaches of the sea.
They just keep growing.
Yeah.
Cockroach would mean that they can survive a nuclear...
No, cockroaches are cockroaches, and there are different species of cockroaches, and that's an ocean cockroach.
Immortal. What's their lifespan?
They're not immortal, yes, but they're still cockroaches, and they're pretty damn resilient. And also, just FYI, but seagulls are sky chicken.
I need to understand resilient. They're not resilient to a shoe. Why aren't they being called resilient?
What, cockroaches?
Yeah.
Can you guarantee me that you can, out of an entire apartment block in New York, get rid of every single cockroach for at least a decade? If the answer is no, then yes, they're resilient.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Same thing with ants, and to a lesser extent rats, because they're just big, so they're easier to deal with. You can put massive glue traps everywhere. But look, all I'm going to say is, there's only so many glue traps, and there are a lot more rats. Yeah. And I've seen New York rats before, okay? they're bigger than a fucking chihuahua. Them things are round, long, chunky. And I just mutated now. There's a new mutation that's going around. I'm looking at it, going to myself, okay, so how long until someone on the Citizen app is going to say, I think I'm being harassed by an alien?
Dude, when you walk into a subway
Gonna look
station,
like
they're
John Kennedy
running around everywhere on the tracks. Everywhere.
Damn.
So I guess for lobsters, it's called indeterminate growth, technically. So like when you reach adulthood as a person, you stop growing, but lobsters don't stop growing.
Damn.
Oh wow.
You also don't want to eat them when they're too old because their flesh just doesn't taste as good anymore. But their flesh does taste pretty good. I just don't eat it much. I used to eat a lot of lobster. I used to eat a lot of shellfish too. To be honest, I'm out of it. I do like scallops though. Scallops are good.
Oh, I love scallops.
Scallops, lightly seared with a slight brownish tone to it.
And some butter, man. And some melted butter. Holy cow.
Just on its own, man. You don't even need anything. You just eat that as like a snack. You get a whole plate with like 10, 15 scallops, ton of butter on them. Eat that shit and just sit there. It's like Wagyu, bro.
Scallops.
At one point, I thought lobster was considered a low-class food. Like they
It is,
eat it to
yeah.
prisoners.
Lobster rolls are like $65 right now.
Imagine you like come out from like the time period in which lobsters were like that thing, and then you see this and you go, wait, hang on a second. You're telling me that the prison food is now the luxury food, and that the bread that is not ground enough that we used to pay jack shit for is now worth more than the bread that's more milled? Yeah, pretty much. Are you guys fucking insane?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh no, that's not even the worst part. Guess what? You have to pay as an individual 50% taxes now. Actually, over even. Also, there's capital gains taxes. And then they're sitting there like, wait, we had a full country-wide, like, generational crash out about 10%, and you're telling me you're fine with 50. I just want somebody to turn that into a movie. That would be so funny. Dude in the future goes, everything sucks. Everything is this. Everything is that. There's a ton of information, but it's also kind of useless. I want to go back.
Take me back.
Take me back. I can't take this anymore. And also, why does this mirror talk to me? It's like, that's a phone. The fuck is that? That's not a phone. That's a fucking, I don't know what that is. Why do you need this? Because flashy lights and shit. It's just not going to work. He's going to look at the car and be like, oh yeah, that car uses the thing that you're familiar with. It uses oil and turns it into a whole bunch of other shit. You know, it does things with it. Also, people think that they're made out of dinosaurs. The fuel. What? Yeah. There's a misunderstanding about fossil and shit, so it's better for marketing. What? Dude, if you took a person, an intelligent person, from the past into the future, they're going to have a generational crash out. You understand? They're not going to fucking want to live in the future. They're going to be like, nope, I'm done. Nope, not handling this. No. They're not going to handle this because it's a tough reality to confront. They're just going to not handle this because it's fucking stupid.
And people thought it drove him crazy because she.
You know, could be like.
Oh, by the way, a lot of people in the 70s and 80s got psyoped to eat a ton more spinach. Why is that? Because a cartoon made him do it. Oh, what?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, rid of TVs. Those are those things, right? Now we get bigger and thinner ones that go to Times Square and programs people. And people are okay with that? No, they don't even have a choice.
There was a CT scanner.
They think it's cool. Really? Yeah. Why? Because flashy lights and shit. Because people drink too much Coca-Cola. Oh, by the way, fun fact, they took the cocaine out of that. You can't have any nice things in the future. Again, I would love to create a movie out of that. Shit would be so fucking funny. Take all of those things and like compare them, and just as like, nah. Really? I could see myself as this kind of person who just goes, okay, this is just insane. You know? I don't think, no matter which timeline you place me in, I'll have some sort of like a thing just like this to talk about, but it won't really like, you know, I will still be able to live in that reality. Like if somebody took me and put me into the past, it's like, okay, so this disease is gonna fuck me, this disease is gonna fuck me, that disease is gonna fuck me, that disease is gonna fuck me, they don't have medicine for this, that. Okay, how can we make this and that? Okay, good, we're good. What do we need to be worried about? Oh yeah, those guys with guns are gonna have a crash out in 10 years. Let's go, let's kind of move over here, and then everything's gonna be fine. Like, just put me into like California, 1950s, 60s California, bro, with like $1,000, I should be fine.
$1,000, like,
Oh yeah, that's so much.
90 grand.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said $1,000.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not dumb, bro. I want $1,000 back then, currency, not today.
Like 10x more, basically.
Yeah, that's right. And you could buy a whole bunch more with it too. Go work at McDonald's, I'm gonna work at McDonald's for like 5-10 years, and I'm gonna go buy myself like a gigantic mansion. Because the housing prices were like shit low.
Yeah. Like,
And then it's like, oh, what do I do next? I'm gonna buy a bunch of gold.
Bitcoin.
I'm gonna buy a bunch of bricks of gold. Yeah, then put them in a Swiss place, but not the Credit Suisse. I was like, why is that? Because that shit's gonna die in 50 years. What? Yeah. It's like, why is that? Well, because they just kind of didn't have any competence. They decided to hire people who are definitely not Swiss in any measure and let them do the thing. Really? They let you do that in the future? Oh boy, if I told you what else they let you do there, you would just give up right now, actually.
yeah.
You will not get out of bed the next morning.
Yeah.
Like, but we'll still have we'll still have like really good like stability, this and that. But like, yeah, you'd think that, wouldn't you? What certainties do we have in the future? Uncertainty, actually. Yeah. It's like, how does that work? Well, it doesn't. That's the thing. But because everybody is in an equal uncertainty, nobody knows what's going on, and so everybody's equally ignorant, and the quantitative analysts are autistic around the world. What's autism? Oh yeah, it's the thing that's called Asperger's, but like because they didn't like the word Asperger's because it's associated to Hans Asperger, the Nazi scientist who came up with the definition for the people who have that kind of neurological thing. They just decided to like lump it all up with autism and not really specify entirely which end of the spectrum they're on. So they turned it into a spectrum and decided to say, oh, you're on the not disabled spectrum. And you're like, why did they? Wait, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I agree. Like, why do they have a problem with that scientist exactly? Because we have Werner von Braun, bro. I'm like, yeah, pretty much. That's not a problem. But apparently that other guy's a problem. It's like, what was his alternative? Getting shot? Like, past discussions would be so funny. I will say that much.
It would be really funny.
Going into the past, tell them about the future, and just like the reaction would be enough.
I would tell them about the prediction market. Right, Chad.
Nah, that's not even as impressive. That's just hyperscale bullshit. But the other stuff that's genuinely insane, that stuff is interesting. It's like, oh hey, by the way, we're starting to talk to computers now. Oh, so we have robots? Not exactly. Like, well, what do you mean? Well, they're not real robots. They're like virtual robots.
Each other.
Turns out the engineering to make real robots is so hard that making virtual robots super realistic is easier than making actual robots. Oh yeah, and your machines are going to be super big. It's like, what's your storage now? Oh, I got like 250 kilobyte. It just cost me a whole bunch of money, but I got the floppy. We were so good. I'm like, yeah, no, you're going to have like a 4 terabyte SSD, otherwise you're not shit. And they were like, you're going to get a what? Yeah, pretty much. What's the size of the average photo? Well, like 4 megabytes. What? Mm-hmm. You actually have to resize it into email format, and that's 250 megabytes each. Sorry, kilobytes each. They call that small? No, they actually call that medium. Small is like 120, but yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Like, imagine all these, like, this would turn into a really good movie if you did it.
Yeah. It would be great, yeah. A lot of material.
There's a whole bunch. There's a whole bunch. What else? What else is there? What else? Like, what else is there?
Like when they might think we might have flying cars by now, but
Like, we do have flying things. We have like tiny little small flying things, and people who play a lot of video games use those to fight each other in war. Yeah, they use this thing called a Steam Deck, which is like a controller. Oh wait, you don't know what that is. It's like this thing that has like little levers on top of it and shit, and then they have like a screen that they tape to their face, and then they just kind of see where shit goes and just move it around with little buttons and shit. What? Yeah, pretty much everybody knows how to do that these days.
yeah, let them try VR. Let them try VR. Like
It's like, oh, we have VR now. We have simulated experiences of aliens. Oh yeah, we're like really comfortable with aliens in the future. We're kind of wanting them to come this time around. Like, really? Yeah, the paranoia is all gone from Roswell. We actually want the aliens now.
yeah, exactly.
It's like we want their GPUs because we don't have good GPUs anymore, even though we have some of the best in the world. It's like, what's your limitation there? The size of electrons is pretty big. Like telling them that, you're like, what? Yeah, pretty much. It's a whole thing. Don't worry about it. Like, yeah. And we can technically not and also at the same time see atoms. That's a thing. We also control plasma with magnetic fields now, but it's not entirely utilized. Oh, and that infinite energy source that was so super cool. We actually made it so safe that it can't melt down anymore, so now we don't have any nuclear threat. Oh, really? So everybody has, reactors everywhere? No, actually, they turned them all off because a bunch of hippies decided it was dangerous. What? Yeah, that's what's called. It's called, capture, narrative capture. Yeah.
Yeah.
They would think that that stuff turns into a bomb, even though we both know that that's not how that works. It works by smushing things really hard, really fast. That turns it into a bomb. But the other stuff is just a slow release and a lot of dirt everywhere. Oh, really? Yeah, pretty much. Heard of Chernobyl? No? Oh, sorry.
I'm so sorry.
Sorry about that. That one's gonna be it. That one's gonna be what sets it off. Like, what's that? Well, there's a bunch of dudes in Russia. They cheaped out and used graphite as their control rods in order to absorb all the neutrons and shit. It didn't work out too well because it started burning, and the guy in the plant was an incompetent motherfucker, and so that whole thing went up and contaminated a sizable part of Europe and such, which was really interesting. And then a whole bunch of hippies decided this shit can't ever happen again, even though they had super advanced nuclear power plants that had never melted down ever before. So yeah, but that was the past stuff. And then the modern days, you do have one situation where it's in Japan there was a massive tsunami. Oh really? Yeah, it was a big fucking earthquake. That happened, and it took out a large part of the city. And they built that city right beneath the stones where the ancients told them not to build. It was like, yeah, hey, what here's a big fucking rock that says build nothing beyond this point. And they look at it and go, what an interesting thing. Let me just build a big fucking nuclear power plant.
I'm just gonna show them the picture with the priest wearing a mask and a water gun.
Yeah, it's like, hey, this is the time we had a disease which is less bad than the flu roll around, and everybody had it, and people got super, super anti-scientific about it and started to believe in it as if it was a religion. And then, yeah,
I'll just show them
this happened.
No comment.
Yeah, what the fuck is going on here? Why is he doing that? It's well, it's called false ideology. It's going to be a huge problem. We're going to have to deal with it. Man, see, this is you could come up with a whole movie about this shit. Imagine having a 45-minute movie, and it's just you going into the past, 1950s, saying, "Hey, man, I want to buy you a coffee and tell you the most insane stuff you've ever heard. I'm from the future, which is also why I look as weird as I do. And I know that you're going to think I'm insane, and you're correct to think this. Maybe I am insane, but I would like to buy you a coffee, and I know you can't really say no to that because it's free money. Here you go." And then you sit there, have that conversation, and then just teleport away right in front of him, so then he believes everything you said.
Honestly, with how things have been going, even if you just speak to someone from 6 months ago or a year ago or 2 years ago, they'll be shocked.
Nah, I think a lot of things are possible. If somebody would have kind of told me this shit, some of the stuff that would have happened 6 months ago, I would be like, yeah, that actually does make sense.
Yeah, now it's fine, but a few months ago.
No, a few months ago, I already knew 6 months ago that the market crash was going to happen. I just didn't really know how it was going to happen. So if somebody would have told me, oh yeah, by the way, the market's going to crash again, I'd be like, how badly this time? Oh, not entirely as bad to recession. Really? I thought they would really do it this time. Okay. So what are they going to do? They're going to just do like a small number of these little crashes just to like even out the recession part until eventually the recession thing no longer becomes a thing that needs to happen? Yeah, pretty much. Oh yeah, spoiler alert, guys.
Yep.
Oh yeah, you think that's not going to happen in the next 6 months? Well, did you think 6 months ago that this was going to happen now? Well, it did. So what do you think? New Year's could be interesting.
It's gonna be real interesting.
Mm-hmm. Do a lot of streaming.
That'll be fun.
What if there's going to be like a V2, like H1B Christmas war? Hope not.
Yeah, I don't know how there could really be a part 2 of that, but
Yeah.
something else.
It was a fascinating time. Can't say it was a really fun time for me, to be honest. I will say that.
It was really interesting. It was, and it was unplanned because I planned to be at a Christmas dinner that day. So it was like, it all just kind of happened.
Yeah. Christmas dinner finished just correctly. My city flooded, so I had to come home at just the right time. And so everybody was right there when they needed to be. What did you do that day? I argued with a bunch of people and sent them the meme about my brain being the smoothest thing there is on the planet. Why'd you do that? Well, they called me superior, so I had to say something. Not even a joke, that's legit what happened. I've been trolling every political faction, pretty much. And ironically enough, of all the ones that have tried to cancel me the hardest, it was in fact the people on the right that have done that. A lot more than the left. I will say that. Even the fucking hacker who doxed me was more ethical and considerate with their methodology than some of the other fucks that have tried to do it and got it wrong. How about that? And they would have had an actual reason to want to fuck me over, but they didn't. How's that? That's impressive. That's why I had a conversation with them as well. Like, I actually had a conversation with them. And, granted, it was a year later because, I didn't really feel like I wanted to do it at the time when it happened. So I had to, make an actual assessment out of it and really see what the hell was going on. Had to be accurate. Had to be quantitative about this. Did have a discussion. They turned out to be a very reasonable human being. I was surprised by that. I was kind of expecting it, but still was a neat surprise. It was a neat surprise. I will say that much. So, yeah. That's what you get, man. That's what you get. Who would have thought that the whole thing would flip so hard, dude? Never would have thought that. Never would have thought that those people who always prided themselves on not being the most triggered are the most triggered now.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Truly a lesson for the ages. Here's the thing. The thing is this. You gotta be like a divine contrarian, so you can keep both the normies and the schizos in line. And it depends on what that line looks like, but sometimes that line doesn't need to look agreeable. Sometimes that line just needs to be also fucked up, so that that fucked up thing doesn't go somewhere else where it could cause actual issues. And that is the divine contrarian. That is the divine aspect of that contrarian. You do it for the love of the game and for the good of however many people you can do good for. And that is it. That is everything. There's really not much outside of that, There's not much you have control over. There's not much you can contribute to. That is something. And it's like McDonald's' marketing motto. I'm loving it. Not as much as I love you, but yeah. I love y'all. It's pretty good. I'm getting tired of soup. I want to eat actual solid foods.
No watermelons today?
No. But yesterday, yes. Cracked open so big it actually defeated me.
Diet, yeah. The boss watermelon.
I was live on the Discord server and cracked that shit open. And somebody was like, how are you going to open it with that small knife? And I just stabbed it in, cut the first half open, and just cracked open the rest.
Just
Yeah, I think I recorded it too. Somewhere.
I'm very good at ripping shit apart.
Yeah.
It's like Doom God. Rip and tear. Rip and tear. There's a reason why I don't do it like live on here, because a lot more people would see it, and not sure about the effects.
It'll have some interesting ones for sure.
Look, all I'm going to say is, and you're not going to think this is weird if you're normal. You're just going to think it doesn't make sense. But if you understand this, you got a problem. But I want to get one of those medium-sized watermelons. I'm going to hire a really thick-thighed goth girl to crush that shit between her thighs, just post it on the internet, and no one will ever know that I financed it. I just want to see how the division between normies and schizos and the people who legitimately have like a thing for that, and just do market research.
That'd be hilarious.
And I just want to declare right now, I'm only 20% kidding. Look,
I think you would do something like that. Yeah.
I do. Like, look, nobody's gonna come to harm about that. You know, it's like it's just a watermelon being disassembled by someone's legs. Like it's a thing that happens. It's a thing that can happen. I don't know why people are like
powerlifter.
Yes. Yeah. People don't know, but there's a lot of interesting people at gyms. You just gotta get the right times and come up with the right proposal.
The right time. Working hours or late hours?
It depends. That's where the market research comes in. You need to be one of those. You need to be one of those crackhead gym goers who has different sleeping cycles. Okay, for like 3 weeks, what you do is you come there at one time of the day. For the other 3 weeks, you come there during another time of the day, so that you can scope out what kind of people pop around and which physique they have. You can do this with multiple gyms, so you can do the market research to find yourself the watermelon the thighs crusher powerlifter person. And that is the market research you're going to have to be doing. And that is quantitative analysis, which I really have no idea why you would be doing this. But if you're legitimately that obsessed, then yeah, that is something you would probably want to do. I don't know. It's just a thing. I mean, you're going to go to the gym to work out, obviously. You don't just like stick around and be a fucking idiot. Like work out, get part of the culture. You know what I'm saying? You know, put on something yourself. So it's all weird. Yeah.
So what you're saying is you're announcing the watermelon challenge.
I would say that, but I think some people would take that seriously, and I don't think I should be saying that. So no. The answer is unfortunately no. Unless you want to crush a watermelon.
I think Adrian can do that show, the rehearsal. By the way, I don't like that show, but he could do actually a good version of it.
What show?
Yeah, the rehearsal. Does anybody know?
No.
Is it even called that?
I
Let me check.
Well, I do want to know if it's possible for me to somehow get my hands into a watermelon and break that shit open without a knife.
Does Nathan Fielder ring a bell? No? No one knows about this show?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't really watch that much shows.
I don't know how to explain it, but
What's it on? Is it on TV?
it's basically a guy who follows all of his intrusive thoughts and does experiments on. I'm probably not going to explain it the right way, but he does experiments on real people. That, for example, they come in for thinking that there's a casting or a singing show, and he makes them think that that's what's going on. But it's like the goal is something else. He plays like a psychological game. I'm probably not explaining this right. But yeah.
Okay, so basically, I think I figured out why that show flopped.
It did not flop. Every freaking person was telling me to watch it, and I had to watch like it was like.
I love offending people sometimes just because I know I can.
It did not flop. Everybody's like talking about it, but
Look at what I was saying.
it flopped with me because It was very
But then it did, and also didn't. Do you understand the irony?
yeah.
Messing with you.
Okay, this is how it's explained online. It's he explored the lengths one person will go to reduce the uncertainty of everyday life. He's a director of rehearsal, which are elaborately staged scenarios recreated part of ordinary people's life that are meant to help them prepare for a big moment in their life. A construction crew, a legion of actors, and seemingly unlimited resource all come together to allow ordinary people to rehearse for these moments by giving them. Anyway, yeah. Basically, he takes someone and he makes, for example, someone is going on a date.
So it's an unreal reality show.
Yeah.
Damn. This is why I know how to post. It's just taking this and turning it into one line. It's like an unreal reality show. Imagine reality, but simulated, basically. And it's like a stage thing at the same time as well. So it's literally theater at the reality show level, but make it not real because it's theater.
I really just watch it.
And I wouldn't do theater. I would do the real thing. Actually, it's much more interesting to like deal with the inconsistencies of the real world, and still your shit works out than having to control the entirety of a world by making a new one just to prove a point. Unless you're God, of course, then I understand that. It's like, I think these humans are all gonna fall to the same bullshit. I don't think so. Wanna bet? Yeah, here's a universe. Boom. Here we go.
She basically like plays. I think I remember there was in one where this woman was like, I want to rehearse like having kids, and it's like unlimited budget. So he gets a house, he gets like babies as actors, and he had to like every day the baby is like 6 months older, so they were changing babies, and then it's a complete like it's like a disaster, but people like it. I don't know why, but it's like very psychotic a bit. He turns to a psycho.
It's funny because it's like a half slice of what I would use as evidence for why intuition is just deep level programming that people don't understand. Because there was this person who did this experiment where he basically had a bunch of people drive through a city, and then they would arrive at an office, and then he would ask them a whole set of questions. They would answer these questions, and then you'd have like a set of papers which were printed beforehand, upon which were the predicted answers, and each and every single one of the answers that they gave to these questions were like correct, and they wrote them out of instinct somehow. They go, why is that? Well, you just drove through a street where we had like a whole bunch of signs, all these other little things. We also had a whole bunch of people dressed in a very specific way. We had this car that was a slightly off shade of yellowish orange taxi that was super clean drive through at this place at that time while you were going through this place like that. And so you'd have like this entire thing, all of this stuff preset to kind of like influence the mind. They would see all these things and then provide answers to questions. You'd have different answers that all are logical in their own right, and then you would just wait until they answer these questions. All of them are right in some capacity, and they would be consistent with the programming that they were shown. So if you say, for instance, live in a city, you have no intuition. You actually are deeply programmed by things you've seen before. People's behaviors are largely uncontrolled, are a herd-based activity, and if you can see patterns in a herd, you can actually predict what the humans are going to do as a collection of people and individually. Because once you have a group of people larger than 20, you're starting to kind of deal with fluid dynamics more than you're dealing with individuals. That's also how at concerts you get a thing that's called a crowd crush. Right? Well, like people literally kill each other because they're trying to all squeeze to one specific area. Also, what's interesting is that there's a part of your brain that just gets overwritten by this, where if you see a group doing a specific thing, everybody else just starts doing the same thing. Just like how ice, it's like how water, if it's in its sub-zero state and it's still liquid, like nucleates into an ice crystal if you knock it somewhere. And the thing is, the kinetic energy knocks one of the molecules into the other molecule, they then bind and then they create a chain, and that's nucleation, right? It's the same thing basically. That kind of like happens with people, but at a deep subconscious level. So for instance, if you were to go to a concert and you get like 3 to 5 people to do this, you get them to sit down in a line and start rowing, right? Then a whole bunch of other people are going to join in to do that, and you're probably going to cause a massive amount of chaos by doing it. So don't go ahead and do that usually, but it's a thing. You can also like draw a crowd randomly by dancing a certain way. That's another thing, because it's all just deprogramming.
But if you have the tism, you don't really follow the crowd. You're used to it.
Yeah.
You're
Weird. That's why you like see things, but that's still deprogramming. It's like you see that shit, and you're just not really seeing other stuff, and so you're just kind of outside of that a lot of the times. So this idea of instinct does exist, but not in a genetic deep sense that people think it does a lot of the time when you live in environments that are hyper controlled by people and by the things that they put up, because there's tons of messaging everywhere. The city is one of the worst places for this, by the way. It causes endless confusion because there's so many signs everywhere. You're bombarded constantly with messaging. That's also why people go insane on the internet. It's a constant bombardment of demand on your attention. That's what it is, right? And there's also even for the people who are creators, who are suppliers of a product, it's a constant bombardment of demand on their ability to provide something that's worth paying attention to. Like even in my case, I have to be like constantly entertaining on like what is this now? Almost 4 hour segment, right? It takes a lot out of me, and actually by the end of that, I have a decent sweat worked up and all my veins are popping out, right? Because I put a lot of like my energy keeps like consistently being high because I push myself always like that. So I can just do this practically at any time of the day and still have very consistent performance. Like even fresh out of the box, like waking up, I can do it. Like for instance, this one time I fell asleep in my Discord voice call, and that was back then before I made it entirely public. So I just fell asleep in general. And then Elliot came in and said, "Yo, Adrian." And I was like, I was asleep dreaming. All of a sudden I heard the words, "Yo, Adrian." I instantly, boom, locked in, picked up the phone. I was like, "Yo, what's up?" And I'm like, wait. I was just asleep. Yo, hang on a minute. Whoa, do you have any idea what you just did? And then I like immediately locked in, kept talking.
What happened to me yesterday?
It was funny.
Nah, you took like an hour to lock in. It was immediate for me.
You like boom.
No, but I don't know how. Like it was like you said my name and straight up I woke up.
Yeah, it's like the Dune thing where they have like the special voice that they use to control people. It's the same thing. It's actually a special kind of voice.
Yeah.
The command voice, like that command voice. I call it the command voice. Anything said in that command voice is immediately integrated into your brain. Command voice. This here right now is chill voice. It's not commanding, but this is command voice. Do you see that penetrates into your skull? Do you feel that? That's what that is.
Yeah, my brain usually, when someone is using it, my brain usually go in defense mode.
Yeah, but there's a thing, not everybody is like handled equally by your brain. So.
True.
That's privilege. I have privileged access.
Shit.
But that's only because you allow me to have privileged access. It's not a thing I just force. You can't actually force that. It's not how that works.
Yeah. But some people try.
It's a willing entrance. Yeah, you can try and you see that. Depending on the will of the mind, it is easy or difficult. But I don't actually force people to let me into their brains, so to speak. They just do that themselves because they see that what I say makes sense, and then they accept what it is that I say. And that's it. I don't ask you to believe me. I just say what I think is correct, and I know what is correct, and then you can either choose to or not to believe what it is that I've stated. But however, one thing I will ask is that you take what I say with a grain of salt and then figure out whether or not what I said stacks up to reality. And you're going to find out many more times than not that it actually does stack up to reality very, very well. Because I'm one consistent motherfucker. I like deception. let's see here. Let's see if there's anything else on the timeline that I need to look at. Thinking of noodles.
Typhoon in Japan. There's an earthquake in the Philippines.
Wait a minute. Hold on there, Blythe. This is funny. I literally said I'm thinking about noodles, then you started talking about the typhoon in the Philippines.
I'm just seeing what I wrote down here. That's funny though. It wasn't even.
Some sort of programming is happening here. Something is interesting. Some sort of programming. What is this? Is this like am I like psychic powers or what this is? What is that? What is that? What's going on here? Where's the programming coming from? What is this? This is amazing. I was like literally saying I'm thinking about noodles and then you talked about typhoon in the Philippines.
Typhoon in Japan.
Oh, Japan, sorry.
Yeah.
My bad, wrong islands. Different area.
Exactly. Interesting.
Wrong set of islands, actually.
That was very American of you.
I know, thank you very much. I'm trying to practice the ignorance. If you're not going to become an empire, I'm going to meme you into one. It's like that fucking guy from The Dictator, the movie The Dictator. It was like, I don't like Arabs. I was like, but that's okay, I'm not an Arab. You're all Arabs to me.
Oh, that guy, yeah. Yeah, that's
so fucking wrong. You're all Arabs to me. Like, The Dictator was an absolute genius movie.
Yeah. Very good movie.
I loved it.
I love all
a lot of people got super offended by it. I'm like, bro, it was good, man. It was funny.
I really like that humor.
I like LED and Borat and stuff as well.
Yeah. Borat was kind of fucked up in some ways because they like legitimately convinced a bunch of people that they were making a documentary. So I feel like that was not an ethical thing to do.
That is what's happening in the show I just spoke about, the rehearsal. And it's kind of messed up. I think that's what bothered me the most because people really thought.
Also, people weren't aware of this.
Yes. So they go.
That is bad. Okay.
He's an actor. For example, he's an actor. He does like a lesson, an acting lesson, and all these people are there because they also want. They want the lesson, but he's like running an experiment on top of it on them.
Yeah, that's what makes it funny.
And So he's an ARG guy. That's really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I was just like I had a reaction. I don't know how people like it. It's kind of like enjoying it is. It's weird to me. Enjoying like seeing them because these people, some of them, I mean, they're under NDA, but there was at least 2 people who spoke about it on YouTube or something. Their experience, and it was pretty traumatizing.
I'll bet.
Yeah, but they're under, and yeah, that's why. Like, I don't know. I just like I felt the whole thing, and it's just like because people like that show. I don't know why.
Is the guy who created that show still alive?
Yeah, this is like last year. This was released last year. This is new. Yeah, actually, this year. Hold on.
Should get him on an X-Face.
You're gonna okay. I need you to watch it. At least like 20. You're gonna get a pretty good idea about it just watching.
Oh, I know what this. I know what this is. I know exactly what this is.
No, I'm not explaining
I studied this.
Right. I'm not explaining it right. I don't want to like hear your perspective about it.
It's an ARG basically. That's even worse than what you described prior, or like what the description was. It's an ARG basically. So the people are unaware of the fact that they're in the simulated experience.
But the guy is also kind of like what he thinks about like to do in the experiment. Imagine someone who had like ADHD but also has a lot of intrusive thoughts and neurotic. And imagine he acts on all his ideas and it's not, there's no purpose. Like it's
an ARG. It's an alternate reality game.
Yeah. But like run by someone who's neurotic and doesn't make any, I don't know.
Interesting. Very interesting stuff. Yeah. So that's what that is. That's actually quite interesting because, yeah. That's what I was talking about at the beginning of the year. And I had the whole triangle thing. I was like, hey guys, I want to tell you about our ARGs and triangles. I promise you all this shit is connected. And you're going to thank me at the end of this discussion. That's that was really interesting. It said a whole bunch of things that just kind of like happened. And then everybody's like, okay, so now what do we do next? Well, you just do things, man. Make a company and do things, man. Take people's problems and turn them into solutions, man. Pretty much.
Someone said OCD. That's exactly, yeah. It's like someone on OCD and neurotic. It's not even like the cool stuff. It's not like he's autistic or like super like an analytical that we're gonna get some like we're gonna get the take out of the whole experiment. There is no, you don't take anything out of it. You just like watch someone being tortured and
It's an ARG.
It's out of being OCD. It's definitely out of being OCD, and OCD is not fun. Like it's most of the time it's not productive. Whatever you do out of OCD.
Yeah, I know a lot of people with it, and it's a hassle. But here's the thing, right? It's an alternate reality game. You create a simulated experience that not even the participants are aware of, and then you just let it play out.
Could work, but not run by someone who has.
No, it's not that it could work. That's literally what he's doing.
Yeah, but it's run by.
It doesn't matter the nature of the game. What matters is that it is a game. And that this is the concept by which this specific type of game operates, is that it's a game in reality that manipulates the way that reality appears, using reality itself in order to create an experience for the participants within said reality. Have you ever read about what an ARG is and how it works? Do you understand that when you live in a city, that's literally what you're living in the entirety of your life? That's an ARG. A city is not a real place. It's literally none of it's real.
Yeah.
Like, why do you think everybody goes crazy? It's like, it's not what you're supposed to be doing. Like, you've even said it yourself. Look at New York. There's so many different little cells. How does that work if you were living in the same shared reality? Because the participants are given different messaging, and they're grouped up a certain way. They have their own in-group culture as a result of that, through narrative engineering that they subject themselves to even, and then they create their alternate reality within the mainline reality, the base reality. And it's not the interdimensional schizofuck shit, it is simply collective sanity.
Yeah, that's not related to that subject from yesterday, but yeah, this other thing, it's like how you curate your...
That's not even, I mean, it is, but autism, but no, that's an ARG.
Yeah. But yeah, how I do it is just like curate a lot, and then
you can also achieve the same thing with symbols and shit, because the brain like recognizes shapes a certain way and then feels things. It's how architecture works.
Yeah.
And it's what cymatics is.
Subliminal.
But it's also form factors of just nature.
Now, again, X is kind of crashing. Was my voice cutting off? Because it's like your voice was cutting off for me.
No.
It's on my end. Had to rejoin like
Incredible tech. That's pretty good.
Okay, I think I have to rejoin. It's like crashing. Be back.
Yeah, the X space that's falling apart at the seams. This is like why I've stopped doing these like spaces that I've done like prior, like would like do lots, like just long hours, because like I don't know why it somehow has gotten a bit worse. I think that maybe they did this to combat the bots, and it's kind of working. But yeah. Yeah, incredible tech. I won't deny it's incredible. And I don't even say that sarcastically, because it has benefited me so much. And it's brought me a lot of cool people. I love that shit.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What was it?
I'd be part of it.
I missed that part.
Incredible tech spaces.
Oh yeah.
Alright, let's see. Is the thing there? Oh, yes, it is. Discord link is there. Alright, so I think what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to go into Discord and kind of entertain subscribers for a little bit, and then we're going to go live on Halo. That's what we're going to be doing. So if you'd like to join me, have more of a one-on-one type thing, then joining the Discord server and joining me in the advanced member section is the best way to do so. I do this for the advanced subscribers that I have on there, and is a way that I give value. So yeah, make sure to join Discord. I will be there. I'm actually going to go pretty much right now. And yeah, I'll probably like chill there, kind of have a bit of a back and forth with a whole bunch of people there to my subs, and then we'll start streaming some Halo. Synthetica, how's your system?
It's good, but it's doing the thing where it won't let me log into my Xbox Live account, so I have to figure that out.
Oh, yeah, that happened to me as well. Do you mean like the window's not popping up?
It's popping up and then immediately closing and saying it couldn't log in.
Oh yeah, I know that happened to me as well. What did I do to solve that? I guess I somehow like windowed it. Like try to launch the actual Xbox app beforehand as well. See if you can somehow figure out to window Halo. That somehow worked.
Yeah, I'm troubleshooting. I got Grok going, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can figure it out.
Have you already opened the Xbox app?
Yes.
And have you then also opened the other one and tried it through that?
Yes. I might just restart my computer again and see if that's... I don't know.
Yeah, that could work, yeah. Or try running the app as administrator.
Yeah, let's see.
Not letting you log into your Xbox app. That's so weird.
No, it's like when you're in Halo, it's like it's trying to get you to log into your Microsoft account, actually, right? Because that's what it is.
Yeah, you have to make sure your Windows Store account is the same account that has your Halo on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait.
Let's see.
Pretty sure I went through this before. You have to like make sure that you're logged in on the right account on the Windows Store, the one that's like built into the system.
Okay. Let me try that.
Oh, okay. I'm sharing notifications.
Okay.
It's thinking. Oh, we got Laura Cat in here. Hey, Laura Cat, what's up, dude?
Hello. Good evening. How's it going?
We're actually kind of about to wrap things up, but we can extend a bit. It's fun.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry I'm late.
Yeah, no worries. It's awesome.
Been resting a lot because I'm sick, unfortunately.
Fashionably late, though.
Yeah.
So what have the subjects of discussion been tonight?
Chinese so Donald Trump is going to meet with Xi Jinping in Korea. The Chinese ahead of this have decided to play one of their cards, being that, hey, we're going to make it, we're going to limit the export of resources to the United States, specifically the ones that are used for chip making and such.
Yeah, I saw the export restrictions on rare earths.
Yep, that's what they're doing. What else do we have on top of that? Yeah, so then I spoke about empires and China's methodology for the acquisition of resources and how it is that they're basically exports what like they're not 90% of what the world consumes in terms of those resources actually coming from them. How does that happen? Where do they get the resources from? What are the hallmarks of an empire, and how they're kind of like that, even though they're not at the same time, and they're being somewhat imperial, that kind of stuff is really fascinating. What the U.S. is doing, where its dominance stands, what China is doing, and where its dominance stands. Powerhouses on both sides, mimetic versus production. China being production, USA being mimetic. Software versus hardware. What else did we talk about? A bunch of philosophy stuff. What would it be like? Oh yeah, the government shutdown. The logistics of that. Plane stuff, because we had Chad up here, so he was talking about plane stuff. I guess I had to ask him about why do you think that the helicopter crash? And you think it was one of the? I forgot, what do you say again? Thing that connects the
transmission.
Yeah.
Something like
it looks like the tail rotor stops and then it just loses control.
So the belt broke.
Control.
Yeah, so that's what we talked about. Then we talked about hey, can you fly like a helicopter through a storm? It's like, well, you can, but underneath it, unless you deal with convection, because then it will literally take the helicopter into the clouds and fucking destroy it. You would make it out of that. What else did we discuss beyond that? Yeah, we did the whole hey, what happens if you go to the 1950s and tell everybody about the future and watch how the crash out appears? Then we talked about what Noah was describing a show that's basically an ARG. And I also was saying, hey, wouldn't it be funny if we just paid a fucking person to that heavy lifter goth mommy chick? What if we gave him a watermelon, paid him some money, and posted that shit on the internet, crush a watermelon between thighs? What else did we discuss beyond that?
Ethics of the DHS account.
Yeah, stuff like that. It's kind of scattered all the timeline towards the end there, because the watermelon thing is kind of overweighted in my head now. Yeah, there you go. There's a summary, Buttercat. What do you think?
Someone is asking for the Discord. It's pinned in the space.
Yeah, right at the top, if you see what Noya's pinned there, that thing where it says discord.gg/noetic, that is the link to our server. You can join that, and I'll be there in a bit in the advanced member section, entertaining subscribers of mine.
It's interesting how notions of empire have kind of come back. We've entered sort of a new age of empires, if you will. In the shadows of the Cold War, we talked about empire a little bit, but really the empires of the day were fairly dormant. We lived in such a globalized society that it almost seemed like world government was the next empire to rise. And now we're seeing a very different world. Globalism has been fractured pretty heavily, I would say, over the last decade, and especially now. And so these notions of empire and which nations have aligned to create new empires is very relevant and fascinating. Also a little scary.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Although it's not even that we were globalized, it's just that the empires were dead. So, and they transmuted into invisible forms of themselves, which is then what later on then created what we see today. A more static approach to the concept of dominance.
Well, and if you study empires and the fall of empires, what's interesting about them is that a lot of times power and wealth doesn't necessarily dissipate at the same rate as the empire. A lot of times it moves. People see what's coming, and wealth will transfer. I mean, that's why we had large families, aristocratic families that married, from creating alliances between different countries. It became very easy, for a wealthy family that was a part of an empire to move to an upcoming empire. If the climate warranted it. And so I think that maybe what we saw over the period where empire was, dead or dormant was that those interests kind of didn't see value in having competing empires, and instead they were kind of laying the framework for establishing a global oligarchy, if you will. And I think that notion has kind of gone to the wayside at this point, and we're back in the trenches of figuring out who's aligned with who and how to align those resources to achieve greater goals. It's very interesting.
what is that? 263. We got 1/3. It's like 300. So I'm doing math in my head because it's like tenths. So that would be like 300. Yeah. No, that's 3,000. Fuck. Whenever I see someone as like monetization now, when their payouts, I just like already know how many replies I got because I figured out the math now.
I'm pretty sure you're like the only person who talks about this.
Yeah, because I actually know how these things work because I myself have dealt with a lot of digital systems, and once you read anything about, hypervector, like computing or anything vector calculus, you will then eventually understand how these types of systems work. And then eventually when you understand that, which is a foundational thing, everything else kind of nucleates around it. But in order to understand what nucleation is, you need to understand what atoms are and how they work. Like, what does nucleation mean? I described it earlier in the space, by the way. What is nucleation? Does anybody know? Okay, let me describe it. So you can actually see this shit happen in real time. It's the thing where like atoms or molecules kind of chain up together. It's a beautiful thing. It's like how crystals grow, basically. Say, for instance, you can take something that is has very low amounts of. So you want to take water that doesn't have many minerals in it, and you want to make sure that it's completely still and has been sitting still for quite a while. You take that shit, put it inside of a freezer, make sure that it is actually like below zero. You take that shit out, it's actually still going to be liquid. But how does that work? Water is supposed to freeze. Well, because it doesn't have anything to nucleate with. So, if you then hit the bottle on a desk, then the water inside of it crystallizes. How does that work? Well, because now it is able to nucleate, because you're smushing one molecule into another molecule, and then those molecules say, hey, we best buds. The other molecule goes, we best buds too. Oh, we buds too. Grows into a crystal. That's nucleation, basically.
Wait, you can do this experiment? Like, it's doable? Easily doable?
Yes. Buy yourself something that has very low mineral content, like lower than 200 TDS. TDS means total dissolved solids in water. Not sure if anybody knows that, but that's however much like shit is there in water. Also, TDS itself is not entirely indicative of how good the water is because it doesn't necessarily matter the sum of the stuff. What matters is what that stuff is. Like if you have a bunch of calcium, not as valuable if you had a bunch of dissolved silica. Dissolved silica, by the way, is one of the only ways that the body can actually get silica.
Yes.
Which was actually interesting because Fiji water has a lot of silica in it, which used to be a marketing thing for them, but because of the way that regulations work, you're not allowed to make medical claims about your product, plus of course you have a lot of empirical evidence to back up the medical claim. And because there isn't that much scientific study around the benefits of silica, dissolved silica, in those doses in your body, you can't really make any medical claims about your product in that way because the FDA simply does not permit it. There's your lore. I know this because I've done a shit ton of research in it because I work in manufacturing.
Maybe you can claim it as a supplement.
Wait, so you said like
No.
distilled
It's
water
not enough.
for this?
Silica.
Yeah.
But no, that's independent. No, you need something that has low amounts of stuff in it. You can probably do it with distilled water too. Just make sure that the total dissolved solids are, well, less than 200. You could probably do it with a bottle of Fiji water, actually, depending on like however many dissolved solids are in that one, because the label isn't always entirely accurate. Because when you extract water out of those types of sources, the numbers actually tend to vary a little bit because that's how geology works.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, that could work. And again, make sure that the water sits absolutely fucking still for like, I think almost a day or so, if you want it to be absolutely safe. Then do not shake it at all as you're putting it very slowly into the freezer. And close that freezer very fucking slowly as well. And then hope you did it right, because Otherwise, the whole thing will be frozen, and well, yeah. It's a plastic bottle. It wouldn't be a problem. If it's a glass bottle, well, I've had that happen a bunch of times. Not fun.
I think all electronics have some kind of micro vibrations in the first place. Hard to
What?
like. The
Dude, just
fridge.
get a fucking bottle of water, put that shit in a freezer, and just.
I mean, the freezer, doesn't it like have some micro vibration from like
It doesn't. It's not that. It's not that significant. Like, you need to
Okay.
slap the bottle on a desk to make it nucleate.
Oh, okay.
But the atoms, not design of the atoms, the molecules need to be peaceful. You need to tell your molecules, it's going to be fine. It's going to be okay. You're going to make a lot of friends in the future. I'm just going to put you in this place. You're going to make you all nice and chill. And then we're going to do some bonding exercises later.
Bonding.
Whisper to your water.
That's wild.
It reminded me of at the yoga lesson, Isabel was like, you should go outside barefoot. Don't wear shoes.
You do realize you don't want to be doing that in certain places of the world on account of what is out there.
Here.
Yeah. If you have nice grass, it's understandable. If you don't have nice grass, then, not so good.
No, she told me like walk out in the street. Just thinking about it. The city.
All right, well, I've got Halo working now.
Nice. What was the solution?
It was what Pi suggested. So,
Is what suggested?
yeah, it was my Windows account was different than my Xbox account.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was saying about the Microsoft Store
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever. Like, you have to be in the right thing, logged in.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Hang on, is that lizard alive? Oop. Oh, no, that's dead.
I wish I could have the soundboard right now.
Yeah, I literally pressed, yeah. No, that
That's
thing's... Damn, that's mummified. Fuck. Okay. Alright, so... What is this? Yeah, I know about the science about the idea that thought and sound could change the way water crystallizes.
Yeah.
So that's quite a fun situation. I wonder what really causes the water to behave a little differently. Because there are a lot of weird ways that happens. One of the things that I think is interesting is that slime mold experiment where they basically said it's gonna it knows how to go through a maze.
Mm-hmm.
It finds the most efficient path to do so. And they said based on that, okay, it's intelligent, right? Because it can solve the maze. And somebody said, I disagree with that. And here's why. So he took that exact same maze, filled it with sand, and then pumped water through it. And then guess what? The water did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It solved the exact same path. So now, is the water intelligent, or are these cells just, not exactly competent in the way that we think they are, but they're unconsciously competent? And just
electricity
aren't
is the same
adjacent to
thing.
fluid dynamics. Yeah. I mean, we turn into fluid as well. It's funny that I say that right as I hear police sirens in the background.
Oh, you can hear them. I don't have the Discord.
Did somebody get liquefied? Somebody check the
No,
system?
this is no. This is all day. You just don't hear it because usually it's Discord.
Fucking ARGs, man. That's also an ARG, by the way. You know, police station.
Yeah.
And then you got the people. You got the drug makers. They are in their own ARG. You know, cracked out chemists, the professional ones. It's the whole thing, man. It's amazing. Oh, yeah. Not the dying people liquefying part, but you know. I do think it's funny that there's a company called Soylent that makes liquid supplements.
That's
I know, right?
no, those are liquid meals, right? They're supposed to be liquid.
Soils.
Yeah, I called
So-
meals and I read the ingredients. I was like, excuse me, if you consume that shit, you will turn fat and very estrogenized as a dude. Do not do
It
it.
tastes so bad. It tastes really bad.
Yeah. Don't do that shit.
I mean, whatever I tried, any of the one I tried, it's really bad.
Ah, ginger beer. Fuck. All right. I'm gonna go into the Discord server. I'm gonna wrap this here. I'm gonna play Halo in a little bit. We'll chill in there for I think about 13 minutes or so, and then we'll start playing Halo. So everybody, click the link up at the top. That's my Discord server. Join in there, and I shall see you in the advanced membership section. For those of you who are subscribers, thank you all for coming, and see y'all on stream in a little bit. All right, guys.
Alright.
Bye bye.
Yeah.
Like the things at the top is fucking amazing. You get to learn a whole bunch of weird shit, collect stuff about triangles and algorithms and shit. I'm amazing. The sex's amazing. We're all amazing. See you guys. Bye.
Mm-hmm.